Welcome to the Teachers Impact Podcast, or better yet known as The Tip, where teachers can come to master their craft, use their voice, and enhance student learning. Welcome to the Teachers Impact Podcast, better yet known as The Tip. On this episode, we'll be talking about how to have difficult conversations with parents. Difficult conversations are just difficult, and there is no way getting around them. But on this episode, I will give you some tips to make those difficult conversations just a little bit easier. All right, here we go. So the first tip is to seek to understand where that parent is coming from. I know that you may want to just bite the bullet and give solutions to the problem, but this may actually work against you and lead the parent to think that you're trying to somehow tell them what to do or how to raise their children. For some further explanation, give the parent room and space to express what they think the problem might be, and they may talk about how frustrated they feel about you, but try to remain neutral as best as you can and give them that space to express their feeling. And the second tip is, while they're expressing how they feel, what they think the problem is, or how everything is going for them, the second tip is to actively listen. And I know we've heard this many times, but active listening is actually a really hard thing to do. So we have to be purposeful and intentional when we're doing it. And when you're actively listening to the parent, you will realize that they actually have their child's best interests at heart. They may demonstrate it in a different way than you expect or believe is right, but they actually do have that child's best interest at heart. The third tip is to validate the parent's feelings and emotions by saying, "What I hear you saying is that," and then rephrase what they said. The parent will correct you if you've gotten it wrong. Once the parent has expressed how they feel about the situation, they will feel better knowing that you just validated how they actually feel about that situation, which will help them to come to a place where they're more understanding of where you're coming from and your point of view. The fourth tip is to state your concern by saying that your goal is to work with the child and you also have that child's best interest at heart. The parent may not believe there's a problem, but at least they're aware and can start to see if they experience those behaviors with the child because you've had the conversation with them. The fifth tip is, if the parent believes that your concern is valid, then working with the parent, you can co-create a plan of action to address the concern that you have with that child and revisit after the plan of action has been implemented for some time. So this is crucial in working with the parent to come up with a plan, similar to how we work with our students to come up with with our classroom rules. We work with our parents to co-create a plan, an action plan or behavior plan with a child that we're having issue with, so that the parent can feel that they have some stake in what we're trying to do or what you as a teacher are trying to do. So those are just a few tips that have worked very well for me. This has come after many years of experiences where I've learned to really come from a neutral point of view and make sure to really understand where that parent is coming from. Again, these are not foolproof. These are just some tips that have worked for me. All right, so let's get to key takeaways. Number 1, seek to understand the parent's point of view. Number 2, actively listen to their point of view. Number 3, validate their point of view. State your concern. Number 5, co-create a plan of action to address the concerns, and then come back and look at your plan at a later time to see if some of those things are actually working. So there you go. Those are just some tips and ways on how to have difficult conversations with parents. Hopefully you find these tips helpful and try to implement them when you're having a difficult conversation with a parent. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out the website teachersimpact.net If you found this content helpful, please share, favorite, and rate on your favorite podcast app. You can email me at teachersimpacteducation@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram at Teachers Impact Podcast. Happy learning and growing.